Hi guys. I Let me introduce myself. I am Irene Wilkins and I am the founder of Achieve It Business Solutions. I am making a second PPP loan video. I actually just did one on my personal page, and I thought, instead of just sharing it, maybe I should also do a video for the individuals out there on my business page. Kind of want something a little bit different. Most of the people on my business page are business owners, and so I wanted to discuss a question that's been asked to me by so many individuals. So last week, or about 12 days ago, I did a PPP loan education video that, thousands of people actually were watching, and it let me know that this is an important topic that a lot of individuals are actually concerned about. Their ability to get a PPP loan, what it is, how they're going to pay it back. And then I got an outpour of individuals who reached out to me on my personal page, my business page, asking me what should they do with the money if they want to return it. A lot of people realized that the loan was not right for them, or that the person that they hired, whether they knew it or not, maybe put fraudulent information on there. And so I had a couple people that I had some people that live on the East Coast that asked me about it, and I said I'm going to make a video. So I did do a video on my personal page. This one will be a little bit different than the one on my personal page, because I know primarily most of the individuals who will watch this video are business owners. So again, I myself am a business owner, and I understand completely what it's like to be presented monies to help your business grow. And I think that's like the biggest misconception with the PPP loan. A lot of people got it thinking, okay, my business is right here. I want to scale my business. Let me get this PPP loan so I can scale my business. The problem is the actual acronyms for the PPP stand for protection. It's a paycheck protection program. So this is actually for individuals who primarily had an established business and they needed to keep their employees or themselves, if they were like a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, they needed to stay afloat. So that is the biggest misconception with this loan. A lot of people wanted to start a business or scale a new business with it, where it was primarily created for individuals who actually had a running business and they needed help to stay afloat so they didn't have to close their business. So unfortunately, so many people were presented this opportunity and they decided to take it, and they were not eligible. So now you've got a ton of people out there right now who have gotten this loan, just got approved, the money's sitting in the bank, or they, even worse, they spent the money and they realized, you know what, that vacation I took with the money, or enhancing my body, whatever you use the money for, if it was not 75% for a paycheck protection, then unfortunately you actually should not receive the forgiveness from that loan. And that's why most people got it. Now, you have 2 years to pay back that loan. 2 years. So if you weren't using the money to take your business to the next level and you've spent it all, how are you going to pay back $25,000 in 2 years and your business hasn't taken flight? So I wanted to create these videos as an education for individuals who are feeling stuck in this contract that they created. And I actually just wanted to share with you guys, like I said, I did one on my personal page. I wanted to do this one a little bit different because I know most of you out there on my business page are probably business owners. So when you should return your PPP loan money. And guess what? One of the first reasons is that many businesses are discovering that the PPP funds are not the right fit for them. So that's okay. If you guys got the loan and you thought this would be great for you, a lot of people actually came out of this pandemic, self included, doing better than before. So I quit my job, went full fledged into my business, and it's doing remarkable, even better than it was a year ago. So, or the year before that. So I completely understand if you guys realize, you know what, I got this loan, but actually I don't need it as much as I thought I did. That's okay. So there's actually guidelines that were established, that you could keep the monies for 8 weeks before you can apply for the paycheck protection. So if you've had it longer than 8 weeks, you're in a different bracket. But if you haven't, guess what? You actually can return these funds. If you weathered the crisis, you weathered the storm of this pandemic, and you came out all right, don't spend the money because you're going to owe it back anyway. So why owe something with interest if you don't have to? And then also, if you're not going to qualify for the loan forgiveness. So again, if you are actually not going to spend 75% on the paycheck protection, don't do it. 75% goes to that, 25% goes to rent, and 25% up to can go towards utilities. So there is nothing in there that said you can spend on anything else. So for those of you out there who got the money and started spending on marketing, things like that, you actually weren't supposed to do that with the loan. So if that's what if you get an audit and you're like, oh, I spent it on marketing, your paycheck protection forgiveness, it's not going to be forgiven because you spent it on something that actually you shouldn't have. And that's unfortunate. And then also, if the PPP loan conflicts with another program you may be interested in, then don't get it. So one of the main programs is when you file your taxes next year, if you haven't already filed this year, and that would actually be the employee retention credit that is going to be available as a tax credit, that you can't do both of them. So if you get the PPP loan, you don't give it back, that won't be eligible to you. And I guarantee you by next tax season, that will be talked about more and more, and people will find out that that's beneficial to them. So you have to decide before you start spending all those funds, and then you're not going to make it. If your business was shut down, is shut down right now, or it was shut down way before the paycheck protection was available to you, don't get this loan. I shared that on my last video. Guys, I know sometimes things are presented to us as like a present or something sparkly and shiny, and you want it, you want to touch it. Don't do it. Don't risk being taken from your families, spending jail time, owing all this money. Don't risk that because you want to get rich quick. No, we have learned through movies, we've learned through personal experiences, there's a certain way that you should be doing things in order to reach success. And honestly, if you don't put in the hard work, then you don't appreciate it the same. So make sure you're putting the hard work in to developing your business. And if you're not there yet, it's okay. It's okay, because honestly, you can start tonight, I should say. And in 1 year, no cap, no lie, in 1 year, your whole outlook on business can change through the education that you have, and your business can scale like it never has before. And you don't have to borrow money from the government, or you'll be set up in a way that you can get actual grants that you don't have to pay back. So things like that are just, keep that in mind, because You can do it. I know if I'm able to do these things, and people who maybe have been in tougher situations than we have, just straight homeless, thought of a business idea and killed it, worked their way up to owning property. Like, we've heard these stories before, these real life stories. So if those individuals can do it, we can too. We can do it the right way without the stresses of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do Fed time because I got $40,000 from the government and I have no way of paying them back. Why? Now what's going to happen to our families, our children, our mates, our business? It just doesn't make sense. And if there's anybody that's going to be a voice of reason, and you don't have anybody else but me in this video, then that's who I will be for you, because I want to see you guys win. And I don't want, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get in trouble behind this. We've already got 500 big cases of people who are already owing 600 million plus, and that was like 2 weeks ago. So you can only imagine how many more people are going to get in trouble from these loans. Just being regular people thinking, hey, this, the government owes me this. You know what? The government does, that. You can absolutely send me a question. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Tamara, please do. And if you guys want to ask questions on this feed, feel free to. I'm here to help, honestly. So how you return your PPP loan? It's very simple. The first thing that you want to do, don't reach out to the IRS. Talk to your lender, the actual lender who approved your loan. Talk to them, and they more than likely have a process on how to guide you in returning those funds to the Treasury Department, IRS. So go ahead and talk to them. I'm sorry, guys. The safe harbor provisions actually expire May 18th of 2020. So there's going to be some other stuff that's required. But just remember that you want to do it in a timely manner. So if you still have that money sitting in a bank account because you're worried about spending it, hit them up tomorrow and ask them, just say, you know what, I don't need the money anymore. I'll be all right. What can I do to get this money back to you as soon as possible? And guess what? There is tons of help out there if you actually need help in scaling your business, in taking your business or whatever it is that you're trying to do to the next level. There's plenty of help out there. That's the whole reason why I started a business, is because I was always the helper for everybody. You need to know how to start a business. I'll look up everything you need. I'm the research guru of everybody I know. And they know it. They have a quick question. They call me, Irene, what can I do to start a food truck business? Irene, what can I do to start a daycare? Irene, what can I do for anything? How can I write a resume? All these things are who I've been in people's lives. And so I decided to create a business from it because I've always been a helper. I genuinely love helping people, which is why I'm doing these videos now. But I also realized there's a way to create an income with the passion that I have for helping individuals. So in these videos, if you guys at any point have questions or you're stuck in your business, a lot of people were stuck in their business ideas and, creating a successful business. And that's why they went and got the loan. It was easy. They heard that other people were doing it. And you know how that goes. Sometimes when you see everybody else winning, you think, I want that too. Unfortunately, a lot of those people were doing the same thing. And it's really not a win if at the end you're going to be more hurt than helped. So unless you took that money and you weren't supposed to, but you took that money and you scaled your business and you went from making, $1,500 a month in your business to $7,000 a month in your business, you could pay that loan back as quick as possible. Yeah. But for those out there who just kind of, use the money on other things, sometimes we do that. Money is available. You know what? I want to take my family on a vacation. I could write that off, right? Normally, if you're doing a little bit of laptop work, yeah, you could write off that vacation. The problem is with this government loan that you received, that is ineligible. So, I just want to keep you guys informed. Again, I do have a business. So if any of you guys at any point your business is not set up properly, if you are a sole proprietor and you want business credit, you want to walk off of a car lot with not giving them your social and just your EIN number and a little bit of business paperwork, then you need an LLC or an S Corp or a corporation. You would need that. So if you're a sole proprietor and you're ready to take your business to the next level, and you need help with LLC formation or business coaching or trying to figure out what the right business you should do, shoot, if you guys are working for someone and you're miserable trying to develop a business and you're stuck, I write resumes too. Let's get you in the job that we need to get you in. We are essentially a one-stop shop business solutions company. So this company was created to help with as many problems as possible as far as business and professional growth, so that people can be in a better mind state. I've spent years just like watching people and studying how people are. And when you're not happy, like in your area of expertise, or you're working a job and you're miserable there, unfortunately, you bring all of that home with you. And so I really wanted to help individuals who are feeling stuck or who want to do something great and don't really know how to figure it out, or where to go for encouragement and things like that. And so I created this business because that's what I wanted to be for people: a source of encouragement, a source of knowledge, a source of help. And thankfully, I've seen the results of being that for people. And sometimes you try to get this from family and friends who don't understand your vision and don't really know how to help you. Not all the time is it like purposeful. They're not purposely trying to be negative. Some people just have growth that they need to accomplish, and sometimes you can't rely on those people. So I created a business so that if you need to develop your business, you can work with us. If you need your taxes done at the end of the year, we're certified tax professionals, so we can help you with that. If you are in a career or a job that you do not love, then we write resumes. If you need a notary, we do that. If you need contracts, if you need business cards, we do it all, because I just wanted that comfort of people being able to come one place and be like, you know what, Irene, I need this. Okay, you helped me start my business for my LLC. Well, now I need a contract for a client. Can you help me with that? We got you. We got you. But I'm not saying that, because you're allowed to go to whoever you want. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all can eat. That's one thing I've learned. So if you are around people that don't want to see you win, they don't want to see you flourish, you need to change your surroundings. When I did that with my personal life, things changed for me. So as far as these loans go, people ask me all the time, even after I make these videos, I got a ton of inboxes. So you do the PPP loans, right? No. I do not do applications for the PPP loans. Can I do them? Yes, I can. Do I choose to do them? No, I do not. because I do not feel that overall most people, it's a beneficial thing for them. And so I don't want to see you lose. I am not that person who's just going to rock with you because you want me to. I'm going to tell you the truth in a polite way. You know, I am calculated with how I speak. But I want to see you win, and not for the next 2 weeks or 2 years. Like, I want to see people win for the longevity of their life. I have a question here from Tamara. What about the people who applied for these with various lenders and may have been denied or approved, but never accepted the money due to deciding not to or not understanding the process? No, you should not be worried. If you did not actually take the money, don't worry about it. You may have applied, you may have been denied. That's not going to do anything. That's the other thing. It's not even, they don't even check your credit. Like, these are some red flags that future reference people should look out for. So as I mentioned on my personal page, I made a video shortly before this. So I was trying to go live at 6 o'clock on my business page and my personal. It didn't work out. And so I'm going live now on my business page. But if you did not have to do like a business credit check for a loan, that's a red flag, because almost all loans, there's a requirement of that. And then also, most grants and most loans, you actually have to show them a business plan. And this PPP loan, you did not have to show evidence of a business plan. So that means the reason for a business plan when you're getting funding is so that they can see that you're going to be eligible to pay this money back. They want to make sure that your business is structured correctly, so that when it's time to pay this money back, you know what you're doing enough to where you'll be successful in your business. Now, if the PPP loans, they did not ask you to do that and just said, here's the money, we trust that your business is going to be all right, that's a red flag right there. That means they didn't care if you could pay it back or not, because you owe it. And these are different type of loans. This is straight from the government. So it's not a loan. It's through banks and all these things, but it's a government funded program. So it's a little bit different than if you go to your local bank, ask for a loan, and then you owe them. They got to take you to court, all that stuff. If you don't pay them back, the government does not have to do that. They don't. They will send you a letter when it's audit time. You have 30 days to respond, you guys. 30 days to get all your paperwork together. And if you don't, then there's ramifications for that. Dom, what if you take the money thinking it was legit and somebody filled out the application? So this was something I had talked about earlier. Unfortunately, when you are signing a document, there's like this fine print in there that says you are signing knowing that all the information is factual and true. Now, I may be using the wrong words in some capacity, but that's almost on every contract that you will ever sign. That you are being honest, that you know exactly what you're reading, what you're signing up for, and what you have stated, and that your signature is saying this is true. Unfortunately, we cannot use the excuse. I won't say excuse, because a lot of times, honestly, it is just human error. We get excited, all these things, and so we just sign. We think, hey, I know I can pay this back, or we're good. But the reality is, from a government perspective, they do expect you to your paperwork to be legit. So if you said, oh, I hired someone to fill out this application and they falsified information on here, they're not going to say, oh, okay, well, you didn't know that. Well, you know what? Don't even worry about it. No, they expect that you are responsible enough to look over the paperwork after, or the application, online or not, or be in front of that person while they're filling it out. Most of the time they expect you to be the one to do it. So it is unfortunate, but it will not hold up in court is what I'm saying. You saying, I didn't know this person falsified information, that's not going to hold up in court. I do strongly feel that the individuals who took advantage of business owners and said, "Oh, I can hook it up for you. I can make sure everything is straight." I think that they should there should be some consequences for them, because that was greed. Somebody who knows how to read paperwork and stuff like that, they looked at this as an opportunity to make money. And no, you should not have had to pay anybody $2,000, $1,500, $5,000 to fill out a 15 to 30 minute, maybe hour, hour and a half application. You shouldn't have. So again, those are all red flags that are important as you're running a business, because this may be a soon, you pay the money back as quick as possible, even if you spent it. Let this be motivation and fuel for you to kill it in your business. Tomorrow, whatever your business is, if you're worried, if you have that heavy weight of, I'm going to get in trouble like this, or, oh, I don't want to go to jail, or I don't want, this huge fine that I may get. Go in your business, your workspace, wherever it is that you work, and develop your business, and kill it tomorrow. Let this conversation, or let this video, be fuel and motivation for you, because guess what? There's millionaires who have gone bankrupt, who owed millions to the government. We got Kanye, who went bankrupt. We got MC Hammer. We got Trump. We have so many individuals that we could look at who actually filed bankruptcy, and they ended up being all right. So the reality is, when we have, I call them learned lessons. Some people call them failures. I call them learned lessons. Just make sure you learn from this situation, and don't just sign yourself over to something because it sounds good, because that's mostly what this was. And like I said, I've already pointed out a few things that if we know business well, then we would have known, this doesn't sound right. You guys aren't even having the same requirements as you've had as a foundation since the beginning of business in the United States. These are things that were kind of foundations. Even in the 50s, 1800s, you kind of had to have some sort of business plan. So why don't you need it now? Tomorrow, so even if people submitted altered documents and received no funds, they aren't worried about those people. They just want the people who receive funds. I can't fully say that, there's nothing to worry about, but just kind of a rule of thumb, you didn't get any money from them, so the likelihood that they're going to audit something that never fully went through is very slim. They got enough people that they're worried about. I checked 3 weeks ago, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and they had already gotten 500 cases and counting, 600 million plus in fraud from the PPP loans. So they're going after people. Let's just keep that real. I don't want anybody watching these videos to put their head in the sand, so to speak, and be like, well, I only got, 5,000. They're not going to worry about me. No, I don't believe that. I do strongly feel like there are some people who are going to get caught up who got 5,000. There's going to be some people who got, maybe 50,000, and they may not get in trouble. But what usually happens to us when, we're usually the one that something ends up happening to. Most of us. Some people get away with stuff all the time, but I'm always, for me, not that I do those fraudulent things, but what I'm saying is I'm always the one that has an experience of some sort that maybe other people don't. So if you're like that, you're always the one who has some random weird stuff happen to you, then just be prepared is what I'm saying. And if you have the money, don't spend any more of it. And if you don't have the money, like for real, make sure you are setting up a plan, because you got 2 years. Even if you don't get audited, you have 2 years to pay that money back. 2 years. So hopefully you are setting yourself up in a position to where you could pay this back before 2 years. And like I said, you set up your business right now. If it's not, in 1 year, your whole everything can change. In 1 year, like your mindset can change, your habits can change, your business can go from $1,000 a month to $20,000 a month if that's what you really want. So don't let this be the end all. Nobody should be feeling like I'm not going to make it. Like, you will be okay, but you need to set up a plan. Don't just wing it anymore. So if she had my info, Dom, she had my info because she did my taxes. So I thought she would have been legitimate. Dom, if you want a successful business, never think like that again. And I don't mean anything by that. I'm saying this because I had to learn like you the hard way. I trust people. I am a person who, what you show me, I have positive ways of looking at people. Like I'm one of the people who tries to bring out the best in people. So when you present yourself to me, that's what I believe. And a lot of people mask like who they truly are. So I start people at an A. So it sounds like what you did is you started her at an A. She had your information, and you thought she'd be legit. But that type of trust, see, she may never get in trouble. If you were to get in trouble, Dom, for this PPP loan, you may never be able to get her in trouble because the government or the SBA may be like, well, it was your responsibility. You should have never paid anybody to do this PPP loan, or you should have never trusted anybody to do it for you. So the idea that you trusted her, this is business. This is business. And like I said, I've been in business for about 14 years. Part-time, I just went full-time in the last few months. I tried once about 3 years ago. That didn't work out because I had, a business partner, and, we had two different visions, etc. So I went back to work and then, figured out how to do it right. And then I'm full-time now. So what I've learned along the way in all these years of business is that you cannot just trust people's word. Even people I'm really cool with or friends, and we do business, like I still make sure there's a contract. I still make sure I pay attention. Even people who I have done taxes for years, they'll be like, just do it and I'll sign it. And I always tell my clients, look it over. Look it over, because the last thing I would want is for something to be askew, something to be not quite right, and then you are looking at me crazy because there was a breakdown in communication, if you will. So don't just trust that somebody is going to be legit. Unfortunately, we don't live in that world, and maybe that world was never around, but just because you may be honest Dom, just because that may be your personality doesn't mean that it's everybody else's. And what people will do for a quick buck these days, you already know. I'm sure you see, the virals. I'm sure you see anything out there that just proves that people are not just good for their word these days. So please just, let that be a learning lesson moving forward. Like, even if you have someone do paperwork for you again, if they don't give you a contract, look, there's a quick one you can Google. You are more than welcome to reach out to me and ask me to, hire me to write a contract, or anybody else you may know. At the end of the day, the point is that you have to do your due diligence. And if it's your business, you should protect it. Business should not be emotional. A lot of people fail at business because they put their emotions in it. I did it at one point. I'd be crying like, this is my baby. But, it's okay to feel anything, but you definitely want to keep a level head when you're doing business, because it's not, you hear it all, you've seen it on movies. This isn't personal, it's business. That's what it is. So is there anything you can do? Well, I don't know if you want to share it on the feed, but did you spend all the money? Okay, maybe. Well, I'll wait for you to answer if you feel like answering. Or you could just be like, I don't want to answer on here. But I guess I can give you the options whether you answer or not. So if you did not spend all the money, contact your lender tomorrow and just let them know it doesn't apply. Okay, excellent. So again, just contact your lender tomorrow. It's actually okay. It's okay to tell them, you know what, this loan, like, I was reading through it and it's not going to work out, or I realize I actually don't need as much as I thought, or I don't need any of it. And you could just tell them that. You don't have to the information you shared on this feed. Don't share that with them. Don't say that somebody filled it out for you. Don't say that you realize they put wrong information on there. Just say you don't need the loan anymore and you want to return it. You figured out a way to handle business without the loan. You don't want to owe anybody in business. And they will actually walk you through the steps to be able to return that money. And of course, they have some type of protocol set up, because this was going to happen regardless, whether there was any type of fraudulent information or not. This was definitely going to be something that some people realize, you know what, I don't want to pay back $25,000 in 2 years, or I'm not going to be able to pay that back, and I don't want to lose my business behind it. So that's what you can do. Is your business, like, are you getting clientele, whatever it is that you do? Are you actually, like, is your business running right now? While I'm waiting, thank you guys. Like, one of the individuals who's on this feed, like, we have a radio show that we do that's local, and then it's in Canada, and he has his own business too, and we always talk about things like this. And I'm not, like, I'm making these videos because I know people need them. I'm not really like an in front of the camera type of person. I just like to help. So I've had enough people now tell me, Irene, like, people need to hear what you gotta say. So I'm stepping out of my own comfort zones just to help you guys be knowledgeable, because I'm like, I'm like a little bit of an encyclopedia. You ask me a question, if I don't know it, I'm gonna find some sources to shoot over to you, because I just want to be a source of knowledge and help, and that's what I try to do. So yeah, but I'm not big time. Okay, so the person put that you were making 100,000. So I can assume, I could calculate how much they probably gave to you. So that means, let me ask you this: did this individual, they did your taxes? Did they actually put that on your tax return, like the one that was sent? Or do you think that she sent the correct one into the IRS and then changed it? Because that's another thing. I'm glad that you asked that question because I didn't even address that in my last video. But that's another thing that a lot of people aren't thinking about is that they've submitted to the IRS. I'm going to use your what you just shared as an example. They submitted a Schedule C, which is self-employment, to the IRS stating that they made $100,000, and that has been sent. That has been sent over to the IRS. So you may have gotten the loan, but guess what's going to happen when that IRS audit comes? So those are two different audits, you guys. There's the PPP loan audit, and then there's the filing your taxes, self-employment audit that you can get. So thank you for asking that question or even making that statement, because I didn't even address the fact that some people out there may potentially have two fraud situations that will be coming up in the next year to 3 years. The IRS has been known to audit people, up to 10 years later. 3 is like the average. But that's something to think about. So if any of you guys out there got it and somebody was your tax preparer and they did that, that's something else to think about. You said, no, most definitely they did not tell me about a Schedule C. I knew nothing about it. Okay, so, yeah. In order to get the second round, your taxes would have been filed. So I would reach out. I wouldn't even, hopefully you haven't reached out yet in an aggressive way because you're upset, but I would reach out and just be like, hey, did you do my taxes already? Did you already get your taxes done like at all this year, or were you waiting? Because if they already filed your taxes, I would just ask for a copy. By law, they have to give you a copy. So I would just say, hey, can I get a copy of my tax return? I just want to have a copy. And then look it over. Because guess what? If this person genuinely did fraud on your taxes, made all this stuff up without your knowledge, then there's actually forms that you can do with the IRS to amend your taxes, but also to acknowledge that there was fraud done, information put. Yeah, I already filed, maybe got early next month. Okay, so there is actually a couple of forms out there where you can report the individual who did your taxes. Now, is she a certified tax professional? Is she licensed? That would be the next question, because that's a whole different thing if they are certified and they have what's called it's a P10 number. If they have that, then that's a whole nother game. So depending on her situation, if you wanted to, you could ask her, get your tax return. I had that problem with a few people this year with their taxes. They didn't have access to their tax return from last year, and I needed that information for their specific situation. Not all the time does a new tax preparer need that. I think it's her side hustle, but you don't know if she's certified. Okay, so just ask her for a copy. Tell her you need a printout, and ask her for a copy. What type of business do you have, if you don't mind me asking? And then also, all of you out there, listen, I can't stress this enough. I became a certified tax professional for this very reason. One, don't just go to anybody for your taxes. If they're not legit, don't do it. I've had too many clients come to me with so many issues eventually. Like, it didn't start that way, but kind of the things that Dom's talking about, they were putting in. If a person doesn't really know how to do taxes and they didn't go to school for it, they aren't going to know all the tax laws. And trust me, if they didn't go to school for it, they're not going to learn all the tax laws, because that requires a lot of education. So if these individuals are volunteering to do your taxes, I can almost guarantee they know the basics. They know how to input the data, but they don't, not all the time do they know your tax situation. A lot of times what happens is they will, if you own a business and they're doing your Schedule C, they'll just start playing with the numbers to see how much to give you. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that the IRS, there's like a cap. So once you get to like your highest, if you are going to eligible for a refund, there's like a cap that you reach. And then if you put more info, it'll go down. Or if you put more income, it'll go down. If you put less, it'll go up. So people play with that. And then they give you like the most that you can get, even to the dollar. Like it'll be like $1 difference. They'll give you more. Well, the problem is that the IRS knows that. So if you're on like that level to where it's your cap for a refund, then that presents a red flag to the IRS. They're like, they got that number just right to get the maximum refund for self-employment. So a lot of people are getting audited because of that. So you resell shoes and you sell clothes. Okay. So I don't care what business you guys have, please. And every professional tax preparer is not a good preparer either. Just like you would do on Amazon, just like you would do when you're buying anything else that you don't really know about, look at the reviews. Look at the reviews. Look at their, business page. These are all things like they should have a business page. That means they take their business serious. They should have some reviews because their clients are appreciative of their work. They might not have a lot. They might have two. A lot of people don't leave reviews, but at least pay attention to those things. Pay attention to if you see any complaints. And please, I said it on my last video, invest in yourself. You don't want to be a part of that 50% of people whose business shuts down in the first 5 years. Then you need to take your business that serious. If you, just like you mentioned, Dom, is her side hustle. Your business should not be a side hustle. So you can't treat it like that. So if it costs, $300 once a year, $350, depending on all the documents and forms you may have, even if it costs $400. I know, just thinking about that in a brief mindset is like, dang, I don't want to pay $400 to do my taxes. Let's say it costs, the average for self-employment is like $350. So I don't want to pay $350 for my taxes to get done. But if you don't, and you do it yourself, or you have somebody who just charges you a little bit, think about what really happens if there was an issue. And the audits are crazy. This year, next year for sure is going to be crazy with the audit. Why even risk that? Like, if you really think about it, is $350 really that much for a security in your business when it comes to owing taxes and your write-offs and all that stuff? Not really. Not if you plan on, everybody should have like a monthly goal of what you want your income to be in your business. So if your monthly goal is $8,000, let's say eventually that's where you want to be if you're not already there. What is $350 to 8,000 times 12? I mean, really think about it. 3,000 times 12. 2,000 times 12. What is $350 to $24,000? It's nothing. And that's how you got to think about the important things of your business, how your business is set up, who you're letting have your information. Just like what you said, Dom, like she has all your information. So her not being a professional, like when you are certified, if someone makes a complaint against you, that goes on your record. That goes on, and then you're fined. So each person who is a certified tax preparer, if they do something wrong, if it causes some issue with the IRS and it's on them, you get fined $5,000. As I would get fined $5,000 if I did what she did to you. She's not going to get fined that. So isn't it better? I don't want to get fined $5,000, so I'm going to do your stuff right. So isn't it better to have somebody who has their own accountability, just like you do? Like we're both in a position where I want to succeed. If I do you wrong, then that's going to look bad on me. And for people like me who take client service to the next level, I don't want that on my sheet. Like I don't want nobody complaining about the services that I have. Whereas an individual, I don't know this lady either, but individuals who are just doing it just to make a buck, well, if you make them upset, like if you told her, you know what, give me my tax return, I'm not messing with you again. How do you know she's not going to use your information? You don't. How do you know she's not going to take your social? You don't. Whereas somebody who has something to lose is less likely to do things like that. So if you started a small business in 2020, haven't filed your taxes yet, and are considered a sole proprietor and received funding from the PPP, but didn't make what was listed on the submitted Schedule C, hold on. Let's see, and was unable to change it, what is someone's options? I apologize for, don't apologize for the questions. That's what this live is for. I'm just hoping to educate you guys. So, if you started the business in 2020, then the PPP that you may be eligible for is the second one. And being a sole proprietor, you can actually be eligible for the PPP. There's nothing wrong with that. If your Schedule C was falsified, then you're going to have to prove whatever you put on that Schedule C. If you're audited, you have to prove that's what you made. So I made a video 12 days ago where I put what would be audited, like if they did an audit, what they would be looking for. So they're going to look at everything. They will look at your bank statements, absolutely. They will look at your mortgage statements. They will look at your rental receipts. They will request those. They're basically requesting anything to see if you spent that money on something other than paycheck protection, utilities, and rent. And I think like most people did spend on something else. So it depends what you want to do tomorrow. Like if that individual is like, you know what, I didn't ask for this. I didn't know this person was being fraudulent. I just thought they used my information. Then that person has a right, again, especially if it's a certified tax preparer, CPA, anybody with credentials, they have a right to file a complaint. And honestly, this is business. This is not like street code. You don't have to sit up there and be like, well, I don't want to. You could give the person, listen, you don't just have to go file a complaint. You could give the person an opportunity to do the right thing, just like asking these questions right now. You're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to square it away, whether it's out of fear, whether it's out of I'm not saying this in the way the world uses it, but whether it's out of some form of ignorance because you didn't know the rules or what a person was doing, it's good. It's good to want to gain knowledge. So give that person the opportunity. Let them know, you know what, I have to return this. You don't even, like, you can make it an urgency. I have to return this PPP money immediately. You can make it seem like they audited it and be like, I need that money back. You falsified some information. It was found out. It's all about the wording. It was found out. You don't have to say it was you that found out, but it was found out, and I got to return this money. So I'm giving you the opportunity to return the money so none of us get in trouble. And that's what you say. And if not, like I said, if they submitted the Schedule C, so I'm sorry. Did they submit the Schedule C just to the PPP so the taxes just weren't filed at all? Is what you're saying, right? At the end of the day, your taxes still are supposed to, basically, when there's a Schedule C, they presented it that your taxes were filed and that you had a Schedule C from your filing. So your taxes are going to have to match that. And if you haven't done them yet, then again, you don't take the money. And then you file your taxes. They extended the tax filing season to May 15th. So you have time to do that. Otherwise, your Schedule C would basically have to match up to that amount. And see, the reason why people put so much money that you made is because you only got 20% of like your income for the PPP. So if you made $80,000, then you're going to get about $15,000 from the PPP loan. So of course, a lot of people didn't want $5,000 from the loan. They wanted something that was going to be significant to do something with. So this is the problem that's been presented because of that. That there's these large sums that were supposedly made when most people really made like $1,500 to $4,500 a month, $1,500 to $4,500 a month, but it was put down that they were making $8,000 and $20,000, like crazy numbers, $5,000 a month and all these different things. So again, I would just say return the money if you can. Okay. So yeah, I will return the money like as soon as possible for both of you guys. And then once they get the money, then file your taxes if possible. I mean, you're definitely going to get some type of audit if you submit a tax return for the real amount, and then the PPP loan, like they work together. Like the IRS and the Small Business Administration are working together on the PPP loans. The Department of Treasury, they're working completely together. So, of course, if you submit that, then oh, okay, I'm sorry, Tamara. Of course, if you submit that, then they're going to link it. They're going to put together your social or your EIN number, and they're going to be like, oh, these are two different amounts. And what I also found out is that the reason why a lot of the tax returns were taking so long this year is because they were doing them by hand. So this isn't just like scanning through a system either. Most of these tax returns are being done by persons, which is why they are auditing them already. Like I said, 90% of my clients this year got some form of an audit, either to verify who they are or to verify their income. So we can't get around that. Like there's still so many tax returns that haven't been completed. So if you spent some of the money, just return what you have. I'm sure that, whoever did it, you paid them for their time and their services. So return what you have. That way, even if I'm assuming is about, if I'm just going to say it's probably about 20K that maybe you received. So if you spend 5,000, return the 15 and then pay off the 5 as quick as possible, because I'd rather if I was going to get an audit, I'd rather get an audit for 5,000 than $20,000 for sure. I hope, this information has like just kind of eased some of the stress levels. Can you turn that light on, please? That on, please. I'm sure. No, just those. Thank you. I'm sure that it was getting dark in here, guys. I'm sure that this is a stressful situation. But I hope some of this information has definitely like relieved the stress in knowing that what's done is done. There's nothing you could do about, the money you already spent or the application you already submitted. But, what's the resolution? What can we do to move forward? I know you may have touched on this earlier, but for the people that submitted a Schedule C with no funding, will that still flag the IRS? I can't say 100% sure that I know that. But what I will say is that situation is way down on the totem pole than to the people who have already spent the money or actually got the money. So even if you submitted it, and let's say they do reach out, what you can say is, I realized that this loan was, thank you. I realized that this loan was not for me, or I realized that the person helping me with the application put some information that was incorrect, and I decided not to go forward with it. And you'll get such a better response with that than a lot of situations out there. So I would not, honestly, if it were me, I would not stress too heavily on it, because there's just a lot more situations that are like dire compared to that one. So Dom, did that kind of help you out? Like just, just going over that info and like explain, like, one thing that you could do if you let's say you spent 5,000 of that and you're trying to return it as soon as so if we have no prior convictions, would that really help? I don't. Okay, can you just say how much you spent so I can kind of hopefully ease your mind a little bit? Because it doesn't just mean that like you're going straight to jail, you're not passing go. That's not gonna be. I mean, because if you went to jail immediately, they're not gonna get their money. So that's not the purpose. I'm sorry, the purpose of this PPP loan. If you take out the hope for it, is debt. This country thrives on debt. That's why it took so long for for education, like for them to do education forgiveness. It's taken all these years, and I think this is the first time ever that they did some form of education forgiveness. I'm using the wrong word right now. The loans. Sorry, guys. My brain is a little all over right now. But this country thrives off of debt. So we're in debt to a lot of people. So the people of this country, that's why the credit cards, all these things. I won't go too deep off into that. But what I'm saying is that the PPP loan being presented so easily to people without the usual criteria to be able to receive it lets you know that they just wanted to pass it through so that people are indebted to the government. So if you got $20,000 and you owe that, thank you, Chris. Student loan forgiveness. I'm sorry. I'm like education forgiveness. Student loan forgiveness. It took forever. They've been asking for years. We've been talking about this in the tax world for years, student loan forgiveness. It's just barely been given because there's so much money involved in student loan debt. It's like it's like the country's biggest debt. And so all this education expenses and all this stuff, people are indebted. And as long as, what is that saying? As long as like you owe, you'll never be broke. As long as you owe someone, they'll never be broke, because that's going to stay on you. That's going to stay with your financial record, if you will. So it's the same thing with this PPP loan. It was created to for people to spend as soon as possible. And of course, the people who used it properly, like, I'm sure that it helped them, but they're still in debt. You're still in debt. And when you have debt, then people are gonna, oh my gosh, I gotta work and pay this debt off. I gotta do this. That's what it's about. That's what this country thrives off of. So do we want to continue to get in debt and stress and all that stuff, or do we want to set up things the right way? So you spent $9,000 to $10,000. My advice to you would be, if you, I'm assuming because the type of business that you have, you work on the weekends, take a day or two and set up like a really good business structure so that you can scale on a different level. Let this be fuel for you, seriously. Here's what I do. I learned this. Somebody said Beyonce does this, okay? And I'm not this huge Beyonce fan, but I love learning things. So what was said is that when she's upset or like in a really negative space or whatever emotion she's feeling, supposedly she takes 24 hours and just feels that, and then she gets right back on the grind. And I heard this about 3 or 4 years ago, so I tried it. And for the last 3 or 4 years, when something like traumatic or just, it shakes my core, I wasn't prepared for, as unexpected happens, I take 24 hours and I just feel how I feel. So Dom, take this 24 hours, you can clock it when you're ready, and just feel how you feel. Feel anger, towards the person who got you in this position. Feel a little bit of, what's the term I'd like to use? Feel some type of emotion towards, maybe the lack of you allowing someone to do that. Like the lack of responsibility, I guess. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just want you to reflect and just take that moment and experience that. Give yourself 24 hours. And then after that, you come up with one of the dopest game plans you've ever had, and you kill it. You resell shoes and stuff like that. You can make that 10K if you have your business set up right real quick. Real quick. Little or no jail time. Yeah, you shouldn't. Are they going to put you in jail for 10,000? No. Maybe 50. I mean, the likelihood, no. But just don't even think about the jail time. Honestly, think about how quick you're going to hustle and run your business effectively so that you don't even have to worry about that. Be realistic. How quick can I make $5,000? And if you're not in a position right now to make that fairly quickly, then you know what? You probably need a new business plan. And I'm not saying that in any type of negative way. I'm saying that because that's the truth. Like you want to be able to at least make about $5,000 a month in your business, like hands down. So put some money aside every time you make a sale. Sometimes it's hard to save, but this is just like business 101. So even when you get to the point in your business that you want to, this is actually like tax advice that I give to my clients. You want to at least put 20% aside for your tax purposes, at least. So it of course depends on how much you're making, but if you're making about 25,000 in your business or less, you want to put about 20% away. You're making more than that, you want to put 25 to 30% away. It's always better to put more away and have some extra than to not have enough. If that makes, well, I know that makes sense, but just to kind of explain that. But I saw that you said, I just don't want to be in there. Yeah, again, I don't even want you. It's all about the mindset. Don't even think about jail. You've learned some, hopefully you've learned something tonight. I tried to like give some education as far as the loan. And I think, because it's like new and scary about what could happen, that a lot of people are just focused on the jail. They're not going to get their money if they put you in jail for $9,000. That would not be their first resort. The first resort would be, you owe this money and we're gonna charge interest for every day that you don't pay this money. Why? Because they rather have you in debt. So that's the first thing. So if you have that in your mindset, I'm gonna pay this as quick as possible, then you won't have to worry about any of the major consequences, if you will. So with this knowledge that you have, do you think the people that received more of the funds than they should not worry about forgiveness? They should plan to pay it back. Sorry, I'm trying to go. Oh, should people be concerned with being charged with felonies? So yeah, as far as felonies go, that is a concern. I mean, as far as monies go, after $5,000, it's a felony. So could someone be charged with a felony for this? Yes, and that's what I'm sure in the paperwork that was signed, there is some type of statement that says, if there's false information, you could be fined or receive jail time. I'm sure of that. But as far as the loan forgiveness, yes, a lot of people applied for the loan forgiveness and will receive some type. The point of these videos is to let you know that there's still a possibility that even with the forgiveness, the IRS can audit you. So maybe the bank that gave you the loan isn't so much worried about it, but let's say the IRS is worried about it, they can still audit you. And of course, if the IRS finds out that there's falsified information, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to relay that message to the bank that loaned you the money, and now here comes the bank. They all work together, and there's nothing, I mean, that's the reality of it. So of course that's something to be worried about, but anybody who got the loan actually has to pay it back. It's a loan. So whether they pay it back in the next 2 years or whether they pay it back in the next 30 days, they still have to pay it back. So my biggest thing is that if like honestly, everybody at some point is going to know if their loan application or the information on their Schedule C is falsified. If you know that, then there is something to worry about. But there's solutions. You could give it right back, or you can work your butt off in your business the way that you have to do anyway if you want a successful business, and get it handled. It's not going to be easy, but nothing is easy in this life. Nothing. So why not do things right moving forward? Like go to sleep tonight and starting tomorrow, or take your 24 hours and go into your business right. It's for you. At the end of the day, your business is for you. So why just half do it? If you have children, you should want to leave your business to your children. That's your legacy. You can get business insurance, $1 million worth of insurance, and if anything happens to you, that money goes to whoever the business goes to. These are things that we're not taught. but it's not that much a month. You may be paying $100, $200 a month, but that's for your babies or whoever you love that you want to leave it to. If you want to build your business credit, your business has to be legit anyway. I'm sure most of us want a couple of houses. Like, even if you want to do Airbnb, just real estate, all of the rich people in the country. I'm not saying everybody wants to be rich. I don't want to be rich. My success is not a monetary amount. My success is like a feeling, or being able to travel with my family whenever I want. If I want to go tomorrow and say, you know what, I don't feel like going into work, let's just take a week and go to Panama to go visit my father, then that's the type of money that I personally want. So advice would be, don't, this is a little bit separate, but it's all about business. Don't define your business on a monetary amount. You'll always get lost in just wanting a certain amount of money. Because if you reach that goal, or if you don't, then there's feelings that come with that. If I don't reach $1 million, I'm not successful. That's a lie. That's a lie. You're successful if you get up every day and work and don't quit. That's success that a lot of people don't, they can't carry that with their name. So don't have that mindset. Don't have the mindset of, if I go to jail, like, who's going to take care of my kid? You're not going to jail. You know why? You're not going to jail because you're not going to allow yourself to get to that point. So if that means you got to work a little bit later, if that means you have to get a different type of shoe to resell so that you can sell it for more, do what you got to do. And in the meantime, if you need some help, some motivation, some business advice, be willing to listen, and then also be willing to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. It's the best thing that you can do. We invest in ourselves all the time. If we buy an outfit that we like, if we buy some $200 J's, those are things that we're taught mean something. And that's cool. I'm not knocking anybody who buys, designer shoes or anything like that. But if you can spend $200 on some shoes, then you can spend $200 on an expert who will tell you how to set up your business right. You can spend $200 on some insurance for your business. $200 can do a lot of things for you. And it doesn't have to be just what you wear. So Chris said, I got hit hard with what I owed because my business, it did good in 2020 despite the pandemic, but I would have very limited write-offs since there was little travel, client expenses, etc. So putting money, yes, you guys actually should have 3 business bank accounts at least. One for expenses, one for savings for like tax purposes, and then your profit. So there should be 3 set up. And since you guys have stayed on this feed, I'm just gonna give you guys some gifts of knowledge outside of what I've already done. It's very easy. If you don't have, most of you guys, if you got the PPP, you probably have a business bank account. But if you don't, it's very easy. You form an LLC, you have an operating agreement and your LLC paperwork, and you can form it, or you can get a DBA. In California, you have to run it in the paper for 30 days. And then from there, you can go open a business bank account. So, get you 3 accounts. If you already have a business bank account, like, structure it right now, especially if you're in the beginning stages of your business. This is the perfect time to do it right, so you don't have to go backwards, because eventually you have to do it. You have to. If you want it successful and running properly, that's what you're going to have to do. So why wait till I have to? And just do it now. So again, 3 accounts, savings, expenses, and profit. Your profit account, 9 times out of 10, should be a checking, because you'll accept payments that come in that you can link to that account. And then, of course, your expenses and for your taxes, you put away. And you can always go to a tax professional. You can reach out to me, but anybody who's your tax professional, you can go to them and ask them, if I make this much per year, how much should I be putting away for taxes? Because on average, like in California, if you're self-employed, you're taxed 18% from your profits. Or I should say from your net income. So that's outside of expenses. So of course, if you can calculate that fairly easy. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. I'm hoping this information brings light to some things, hopefully some motivation too, and some help. Chris was just saying he's got to check out for dinner. I was on a lot longer than I expected, but I'm glad you guys are tuned in. I super appreciate it. I was saying on my last video, this is outside of my comfort zone. I'm usually behind the scenes with a lot of things that I do, but over the last year, so many people have told me, like, Irene, whatever they see. They just appreciate like my words of encouragement, the knowledge that I give. And for some reason, people seem to like my voice. I don't know. But I just want to help. And so if you need to reach out to me at any point, things have been extremely busy in my business, but I can always you're welcome tomorrow. I can always make time, put you on the schedule for a phone call. If you need a strategy call, I do strategy calls. So if you need some help in figuring out what exactly you need to do to get to where you need to be, we can set up a strategy call, and I could tell you, do this, do this, do this. So I'm just here, and I will be making more videos for you guys in the near future. My next set of videos coming out. So on Fridays, I do something called Flourishing Friday, where I just try to speak encouragement. And there's a lot of toxicity that we deal with in this life. So I try to just point out like areas where we can improve, or even areas where we can learn to look at people differently and see, maybe what they're struggling with, give us a better understanding so we have more patience with individuals like that. So, or ourselves, like we all have toxic traits. Some of us, we have less toxic traits than others, but regardless, it all intertwines. If you understand people better, then you're able to give better customer service or client service. And then if you understand yourself better, then you're able to just be a better person, and that trickles. Other people see it, they want to learn, they want to improve. And the good thing is, when you've been in business long enough and you know what you're doing, you can be a coach. And I'm a coach, and coaches, I became a coach because I realized that's a lucrative income, plus you're also helping people, so it's a win-win. So those are things to think about. Whatever you're doing, you can literally teach people how to be successful at what you're doing, and they'll pay for it, and they'll appreciate you for it, because nobody wants to just go, most people don't want to just go into things blindly. So I hope this helped you guys. I will be having a video out on Friday. And in the meantime, if you have questions, hit me up. If you want to book a session with me, there's a book now button on the social media page. So you can book an appointment with me, whether it's your taxes, whether it's business coaching. I am coming out with a business plan course that is in the works right now. So it'll give you everything that you need to have a very detailed, really good business plan put together, and it'll be on demand too. So you can work on it after hours or whatever the case may be. So I'm excited for that, because this is not like any other business plan that people have had, and it's going to change the way that you look at business. So I will keep you guys posted. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules. I genuinely mean that. to listen to me just say what I had to say. I really, really appreciate it. You could have been doing something else, but you decided to stay, ask questions, and at least feel comfortable enough to share some of your experiences. So I appreciate you for that. And have an amazing night. Take that 24 hours. Take that 24 hours. And then let me know when you come back to kill it. Like, I genuinely mean that. Reach out to me and be like, you know what? I got up today and I'm ready. I'm ready to take this day by the reins and kill it. Just let me know, because I guarantee you I need that encouragement too. And so I want to hear, the success. And along the way, I'll be here for the journey if you allow me to. So have an amazing night, you guys. And stay up, stay blessed, and let's get it together.